Welcome to the Science Mill. I'm Colonel Tom Hendricks. I'm a former NASA astronaut and was blessed to go into space 4 times on the space shuttle. What got me interested in space is interesting because as a young person, I didn't think I qualified. And that's one of the lessons I want to share with you is don't ever sell yourself short. I grew up near a small town, is actually living on a farm in Ohio. And we had many astronauts from Ohio in the early days. I watched John Glenn go into space when I was in elementary school. I watched Neil Armstrong step on the moon when I was in high school, but no one in my family had ever gone to college. And again, being from a small town, most people didn't dream big, and that's a mistake. I should have dreamed bigger as a young person. But I was able to get into the Air Force and became a pilot. And when I was about 23 or 24 years old, NASA and the Air Force started looking for pilots to become space shuttle pilots. And that's when I realized, looking at their criteria, that I might actually be eligible. And what made me eligible at that point was the fact that I had taken science, math, and engineering as much as possible and had graduated from college with an engineering degree. So that was the basic criteria that NASA looked for, but I didn't have enough pilot experience, enough flying time to be eligible. But yet I applied, and I actually applied 4 times. So another lesson here is persistence, because by applying multiple times, I learned how the application process worked, and that made my applications improve. But until I became a test pilot, I really wasn't competitive for the position. So once I finished test pilot school, I applied one more time, and that's when NASA selected me. I got to go into space 4 times. I can't tell you how thrilling that was. That's a whole nother talk, is to share that experience with me. But I do highly recommend it. And the great thing now is we're entering a new era of space travel. We are now where space travel is now where aviation was almost 100 years ago. It started out in the military because of wars, and military pilots only flew the airplanes. And then after that, those airplanes were used to haul the mail and such things. NASA has been really the only way to get to space for almost 50 years. The Mercury, Gemini, Apollo, the Skylab missions, the Space Shuttle program, and the International Space Station have all been government programs. But most of you probably saw just last month, SpaceX launched 2 NASA astronauts and took them to the International Space Station. That's a private company. NASA hired SpaceX to take NASA astronauts to the space station, another government endeavor. But what that means is SpaceX now has a capability to sell that travel to anyone. Admittedly, it's very expensive at this point, but as more and more companies and entrepreneurs provide different ways to go to space, that price is going to come down. For example, SpaceX isn't the only one that NASA contracted. Boeing will take 2 more NASA astronauts to the space station early next year. So you have 2 companies competing for that. And now both those companies can take other researchers or even tourists to the space station. And you may know that some tourists have already been to the space station. Again, that's very expensive. So the less costly approaches are to fly to space with someone like Virgin Galactic. They will take people that can pay, and it's going to be roughly $200,000 a ticket initially, which is still pretty expensive. They're going to fly out of a spaceport in New Mexico, and they're going to take about 6 people up in the spaceship underneath another big airplane, which will drop that smaller spaceship off at about 40,000 feet, and then it will climb vertically to about 60 miles above the Earth. You'll have about 3 to 5 minutes of zero gravity, and then come back and land on a runway. Very similar to what the space shuttle was like, but not going around the Earth. But you'll still have a great view. And some science can be done on that vehicle. So that's another opportunity, and that will happen next year. There's a third one that's essentially a spaceship carried under a helium balloon. They plan to take people up, and this is dropping the price again. It'll most likely be around $10,000 a person, but you'll launch on a spaceship carried up to 100,000 feet under a helium balloon, have a nice meal, great views, take a bunch of pictures, and then glide back to a runway under a parachute. In addition to that, there's a company called Bigelow Aerospace that is trying to build hotels in space for commercial use. They actually have an attachment on the International Space Station currently that is, again, a commercial operation, but people are already planning, designing, and testing things to make it easier and more affordable for more and more people to go to space. Now, in addition to that, NASA, instead of doing transportation back and forth to the International Space Station, they're planning to take astronauts back to the moon. And that should happen in 5 years. Americans walking on the moon again, and they've committed to that first step to be a woman this time. So that will happen within just roughly 5 years. Then, the next decade, you'll see humans walking on Mars. And those astronauts are probably not at NASA now. They're in school. Space travel has been very diverse for about the last 20 years. It didn't start out that way, but while I was at NASA, we started the International Space Station, and the international part was very important. So the International Space Station was built with the cooperation of about 15 nations, and former enemies like Russia and Germany are now close friends and colleagues in building these new efforts that are too expensive or too complicated for one nation. And the diversity of the people that are supporting that is beyond just the fact that they're from different countries and different cultures. We have peoples from all backgrounds, races, creeds, and religion, and that helps with breaking down the barriers, because space travel, for me personally, broke down the barrier of animosity towards anyone of a different country. And I was in the military, so we were trained to have the capability to fight someone. But after flying in space, I saw that there are no political borders visible. They're artificial, they're man-made. Traveling in space gives everyone a sense of how we're a single human race surviving on this spaceship called Earth. So diversity is now forefront in the government programs like NASA's, and all these international programs to go to space. Even the commercial ones will be international because, again, there are no boundaries, and that opens up the opportunities for everyone. So no matter what your creed, color, background, you might be a farm boy from Iowa, don't sell yourself short. So for those of you who are already wishing to be a space tourist, that opportunity has been around for a few years. There have been 10 now that have gone to the International Space Station. If you've got an extra $35 million that you want to spend, that's a great opportunity. Or if you can get someone to sponsor an event that is that expensive, go for it. Spending a week or two on the International Space Station would be a memorable experience. You'd never forget it. However, that is a bit cost prohibitive. But the Bigelow experience with their commercial hotels will target in fact, with all these, their targeted effort is to make a tourist event in space as cost effective as a tourist event here on Earth. So they're going to try and get that trip to space with Virgin Galactic or Worldview down to the price of a vacation in Disney World. That's the goal. So that, in my view, is less than a decade away. And those opportunities will be there, not just for individuals or couples, but families will be able to take a trip safely for about the cost of going to Disney World. And it'll be real, not artificial. For those of you that are enjoying a cocktail during this virtual tour of the Science Mill, I wish I could join you, but you can also help with the mission of the Science Mill, which is what I'm attempting to do, and help us encourage young people to dream big and study those STEM courses that will help open up their future. That's what this is all about. And you can help out you can help out more than I can by contributing your time and resources and support behind the Science Mill. That's what this evening with this tour is all about. And I certainly thank you for helping us.